Good evening, all. We have Abhilasha here with us today on the topic challenges to champions, where more like like educate us on the pedagogical approaches in child raising based on the challenges children face, what we can contribute as adults, by being parents or being teachers or being counselors, how we can enlighten people in order to promote the well-being of children. So I give it to Abhilasha ma'am to introduce herself and then begin with today's session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'm Abhilasha. I have completed my diploma in child psychology, and I have done a program on school, college, and corporate counseling also. So I welcome you all for today's session, and our session topic is challenges to champions. So uh, children are blessings by God, I believe. They are gifts. They are gifts to us. So it's our responsibility to keep them happy and to teach them responsibilities and make them comfortable and independent. But in current situation, what I feel is children are facing more challenges than adults. Excuse me, than adults. So what I thought is to uh, bring the challenges in forefront of you all and discuss about them and do the best for them as a responsibility as a teacher or parent or counselor, whoever we are. We have a special responsibility to take up for our children because they are our next generation, I believe. So let's get into today's topic. So what are the common challenges faced by students? uh, there are many challenges actually to be speak about, but I have selected three of them: peer pressure, educational stress, and difficulty in studies. So, as the name says, peer pressure. So, currently, many children are facing this peer pressure. It may not be about, I'm talking about the teenagers or young adults, even in uh, you know, what to say, young children like 6 to 8 years old. They are also facing this peer pressure. Like how um, they are getting into gadget addiction, substance usage, and many things which they are getting attracted to the negative people easily. That's the problem with children, because it's not their problem. Like I would say that they easily get attracted to the negative pace. If somebody is no over enthusiastic using their mobile phones and expressing their happiness, I did this yesterday, I saw this yesterday, so I used this yesterday, so the way they express to them, they get attracted. So that way they also know get into that usage easily. So how to make them keep protect them from these type of pressures? Like we have to build a foundation of self-esteem and values in home or in schools or in private educator sectors. We have to explain them their self-esteem and self-values, about themselves, how much they are important, how much they are valued, and everything. So we have to teach them uh, assertive communication without hurting others or without getting into any trouble. How can they say no? When they are not comfortable in doing something, they can say no. And whenever the problem is there, whenever they see something is wrong around them, they should have a courage to go and talk about it and communicate with others, maybe nearby elders, teachers, or parents, whoever it may be. They have to be comfortable to come and tell to us. So that way we have to give the space to them, we have to encourage them, and we have to motivate and tell nothing is wrong. So once they realize that something is wrong, even they have done that something which is not to be done from their point of view, we can tell them that's okay. So you have not done it wantedly, so it is okay to do that. So now we have realized we can change it. That way we have to be ready to face them, and we have to give the space for them to come and tell us what has happened. So encourage open communication. So this also will help them to motivate their confidence. How means, for example, if we take in a family, um, we are in daily basis we are getting so many news about children or whatever it may be, any one news about children if you're coming to know, we have to speak inside our home with our children, we have to discuss, we can take the opportunity to know what's in their mind. In that way we give them a confidence, a space to think, and for us also it will be a best way to understand what's in their mind. So according to their age we can use the space to talk, and guide friend selection and involvement. So this is very important for children, even for primary, kindergarten, middle school, higher college, wherever you go. Friend selection is very important. According to their selection only, our character, behavior, everything depends. So here, these pressures, so we have to be very keen in selecting friends. Nowadays what is happening is the children are getting frightened, even if they are not comfortable with that person, they are scared to say no. If they say no, what will happen next? They will not play with me, they will not share with me, uh, they will make a gang against me. These are all the talks and things going inside child mind. So for this, we have to make them comfortable, um, strong, to stand for themselves first. So that way, it will be helpful. So other than this, education, uh, education related issues also are there. Next slides we will discuss about them. As of now, I thought to highlight these issues of pressure, peer pressure. Many children are facing this, so I thought to make it as a first slide. So here are few quotes related to reading. Why education of reading and writing are considered to be more important. Many proverbs are there, many quotes are there that education is the asset, nobody can steal from you. So many things are there, but why it is considered as important, and from where the challenges are created. So here are the 3 points I have shared why reading and writing is considered as so important. First one is communication. So, um, for example, I can give you one instant, like a child, 2 years old child. So, this child, by 2 years, we know that child will start speaking few words. So, let's consider this child is not speaking. Maybe it is a speech delay. So the child has known many things now, understood many things now, hearing so many things, but that child is not able to express because lack of communication. So this way, what happens to the child is it wants something, but it's not able to express. So it will get frustrated. That child will throw tantrums, cry, and always be in a mode of sadness. And the people around that child will also be in the same mode because they don't understand what the child really need sometimes. Most of the time we will be able to understand if it is hungry or thirsty. Somewhat the basic things can be satisfied, but what the child is really want to express, we cannot find unless it is easily communicated. How the child is frustrated, the same way when we are not able to communicate with others in the group, where the group is what to say, if the other language people are there, if not other language, even in class we are seeing children who speaks English, and the other child who is not able to speak English feels always guilty to go and communicate and talk in front of those classmates. So this way, the communication is giving a pressure or challenge to children. Knowledge transfer. So when a class teacher or somebody is talking, even it may be a news channel or a story. If the child is going to view a story on TV, if it is not able to understand, so that's going to be again a pressure to that child. And self expression, so these ways we are not able, the child is not able to express because lack of reading and writing ability. So why a child is facing these issues? There are many reasons, and before that I would like to share the types of learners. Not all the children are same. As adults, child also have their own style, especially for reading. There are four types, like visual learners, auditory learners, reading and writing learners, and kinesthetic learners. These visual learners will easily uh, understand by the visual means like PPT, flashcards. This way, the child will learn. Auditory learners are the learners who learn from the audio. When teacher is teaching, they can understand, they will learn. That's how these people learn. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you. So, reading and writing learners are, few children have an habit of taking notes. They like to write one or two times and then learn. Excuse me.
Take your time, relax, ma'am. I'll just go ahead with like certain things which I generally want to like share with people today. So, ma'am was talking about peer pressure here. So, I have a few things to share. So, one important reason of why children yield to peer pressure is that one main point is that generally during childhood and the early adolescence and during the adolescence period is the time where the self concept formation develops for that individual. So they want to be part of a group. That sense of belongingness is more. Sometimes maybe a particular student is maybe not interested in a kind of a game. For example, we got a set of students who are playing this kind of game called girls touching boys. That's a kind of they'll just write in a piece of paper which girl has to touch which boy. It is just touching and coming, and this has happened in third standard in a particular school. Third standard children have no awareness or not no much knowledge about the adult content, but it is like a game for them. Maybe they looked at the movies and they got motivated by it, or got some information which we generally see on YouTube and other media, and they out of their own fantasies and imaginations, maybe they wanted to play this game. According to them, it's just touching them on the hand or something and getting back, that kind of a game. When I asked, like, it was a group of five children. So when I individually spoke to each of the child of why they did, some of them said that, like, in break time they play this game. If I don't participate, I'll be sitting alone in break. So I wanted to go, is something which one child said. There's one child who said that I'm interested in it, I liked it. So that is where comes the moral system, and that what we have taught about the to the child, which ma'am just addressed. What we have, how we have built the child, the concept of the child. So that is something which I wanted to add on. Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So this way, these four varieties of learners are there. So we should understand and we should give the space for the children. So now, normally in classroom, there will be a teacher who will be teaching the lesson, maybe with a book, or sometimes very rarely, if they picture, there is any picture only, they will use a chalk piece on the board. Otherwise, they will just keep on explaining the lesson. So this way, only auditory learners will be comfortable of this type of teaching. So the visual learners and reading writing learners, kinesthetic learners will not be benefited, rarely. And these kinesthetic learners are who people like to do experiments. They do experiments. They like to do experiments and learn from that. So normally in kindergarten, if you have noticed, they will use these all types of learning process methods. Like they will show flashcards, they will say, do um, role plays. They will make them to write on the sandpaper or sand. So like that, they do different types of uh, learning. That way, kids learn easily. Not only for kindergarten, it should be applied even for the higher standards also. Even they are kids, they need this support. So what are the common reasons for these challenges? It's divided as four different categories. First one is cognitive and development factors, environmental and instructional factors, emotional and psychological factors, sensory and physical factors. The first one, cognitive and development factors. Under this, we have dyslexia, attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder, processing speed issues, and limited vocabulary. So, let's discuss one by one. So, dyslexia. What is dyslexia? We know that it's a neurological uh, difficulty where the child cannot read or write. This is nothing comparative with the intelligence of the child. That's completely different, and this is different. So, this is the brain process where the reading and writing development has different. Different. That's all. So, what happens to this dyslexia student children is they will not be comfortable in remembering the letters, what they say, what they see. How we see is different and how they see is different. For example, if suddenly an adult is given a different language paper, maybe I don't know Chinese. If somebody gives me any Chinese newspaper or a pamphlet, I will not be able to read, even understand what is in it. I will get frustrated if somebody tells me to talk about it and write about it, because I don't know, I can't understand. The same way, these children will not be able to understand what is there and what we are teaching. So there should be a different method and a customized method, I would say, for them to understand how they have to be um, explained. Like um, there is many methods to use for them to make them understand what they really want. So like letters, cat. They how normal child will read cat. If the child know the phonetic sound, at cat, but this child will not be comfortable remembering the sound of the letters. When there is a challenge remembering the letters, they will have the challenge in remembering the sound also. So it has to be taken time, given time for them. This child should not be compared with the other children. So in our education system, all the children are treated and wanted to be studied the same book, same way. That's where the children are getting suffocated. So, attention deficit and hyperactive disorder is ADHD, where this child will not have the attention span. Either it will be less or it will be hyperactive. That means the child cannot sit in the same place for more than 10 minutes. I'm just telling, for example, it may vary for each child. So that we cannot tell us one word. So each child is different. These children will also face the problem of reading and writing, not because they don't understand, because they are speed. Their speed cannot be matched. They think they know the answer, they know everything how to say orally, but when they come to paper pen, the speed will not match. So either they miss some words, sometimes miss the sentence which has to be written. We would have seen few children, uh, ma'am would have written 4 lines on the board, but the notebook will not have so much. Either the sentence will be incomplete, or instead of 4 there will be a lot of spelling mistakes, miss out of words and sentence as well, because this child's brain is that way. We cannot force a child to read or write as the other child does. So processing speed issues. So this processing speed issues is RAN. I would like to give the explanation like rapid automized naming. This is a thing where if we are reading the sentence, it means that our RAN is in good condition. The same way, if a person or a child is not able to read for their level, up to their level, then it is considered as a speed issue. The child is viewing the word, and the word goes to its mind, process and come out through its paper pen or oral will not be the same speed as the other child does. So this child needs more time than the other child. So for example, in exam, if there is a 2 hours time, this child cannot complete 2 hours within 2 hours. But other than that, the child will know the answer. The understanding time, the processing time will be slow. That's the issue that child is facing. So this is also one challenge. Many children will. I have seen a child will know everything, but when the answer sheet is there, there will be no proper answers. Why? Because for the one answer itself, they would have taken so much of time that writing the other questions, there is no time for them to complete the question paper. So this is how the children are facing challenges. So limited vocabulary. So limited vocabulary means like this child is not exposed to outside world, um, maybe due to some family situations. Either this child will be with grandparents, or the parents is both are working. uh, there is no much conversation or communication between the child and parents or elders. So this child will have not even heard a minimum level of words for their age. For the 4 years child, it should have learned few things basically, but this child will not have that much exposure to learn the basic vocabulary also. And language issues can also be one of the reason. Like at home they would have spoken in some other languages without knowing any common language like English. Or if we are in one state, that state language should be understandable. If the child is not knowing both the languages, inside the classroom, the child will be like an alien, because the child cannot understand what the teacher is speaking, what the friends are communicating. So this type can also be a challenge for the child. So especially I would rehydrate like memory issues and this spelling issues. For this, no, as a support system, we have to give them an exemption. Like for dyslexia and hyperactive child, we have to give them exemption to write. We should not consider the spelling mistakes. And for this hyperactive child, we can give um, opportunity to tell orally, not either other than writing, because this child will be good in speaking, this child will be good in orally at answering all the questions, but cannot write what it's in mind. So for these children we can give the exemption, and instead of making them fail mark or less mark, no, we can give them um, a separate mark system, grade system. So most of the schools are providing this grade system now, but still this problem isn't exist because the comparison between the child is there, and this is impacting their confidence. They start comparing each other inside the classroom. Even the parents are still comparing uh, their children with other one. We should understand that each child is different, and we have to give more importance what is the strength of the child, rather than keep troubling or forcing pressuring the child to take the full marks or more marks than the other child. uh, we can find their interest area, we can find their strength. These type of children will be very good in sports. They, each child is different, I would say. Any sports activity or dancing, cultural activities, anything. So we have to find their strength and we can develop that. So education is a communication, to fill the communication gap, I would believe. It's mandatory, but only education is not the one going to help our child. Skills are more important. So these child, I believe that these children are more blessed with skills. So we have to support them and encourage them, and motivation is more important. uh, yes, all children need motivation, but these children need more than other children need, because they know that they are not able to write, they know that they are scoring less mark other than their friend. Mm, so here comes the pressure, peer pressure again. So this child will not be accepted by the other students in the classroom. So this child is undergoing, will undergo a pressure of you know, low self confidence, low self esteem. Everything will be a challenge. So emotional and psychological factors. So under this we have lack of motivation, fear of criticism, lack of confidence, and family background. So lack of motivation. So as I said, motivation is very much important for each and every child. So where does this motivation come? A child cannot motivate itself. As an adult, even we need motivational from outside. Yes, at times we can motivate ourselves. Yes, come on, come on. But child, for their age, for the challenges they are facing, we need to be a backbone for their motivation. A teacher, a parent, and maybe anybody, even the neighbors. Many people I see in occasions when child or in a group, gathering in a group, first question a person shoots out is, what are you studying? How are you studying? What is your mark? What you are going to do in future? If if the child says doctor and engineer only, the child is going to get appreciation. If the child says something else, there will be no encouragement, no support, and other than that, the child is going to face some criticisms from that surrounding. So this society surrounding neighbors, everything, relations, everybody has the equal responsibility for the fear of criticism for one child, not only parents, many. uh, so I think many are changing, but still I am seeing this in schools from teachers also. uh, they have to be motivated. The child should not have fear of criticism. அவங்க என்ன சொல்வாங்க, what they will say, what they will feel அப்படிங்கிற thought the child should not get. Where does the child getting from this, uh, no getting this fear is the way we treat the child. See, if you get good marks only, uh, you will be encouraged, you will be appreciated. So I think only in sports it should be the first prize, second prize, third prize. But in education, that's why we are, the ranking system has been stopped in CBSE and we are following the grade. But now the grade is also getting issue, like you are in A category, A grade, B grade, C grade. So there is a comparison always within the children. So we have to, uh, what I would say is, educate or create the awareness for the children that this is not only the important part.
And most importantly, for the parents to get that acceptance. If their child is facing dyslexia, it is not a big illness, it's something that can be corrected with remedies, the necessary remedies. And nowadays, in many CBSE, ICSE schools, there are special educators appointed, there are counselors appointed. So, to psycho educate the parents, why I'm using the term psychoeducation is, if anyone with a kind of challenge is going through something, it is very important for the caregivers of that particular individual to know what it is and to accept it and to treat them the way they're supposed to be treated. It is not like everyone is unique, especially in cases of children, even in with the teachers. There's something called as the IEP for like who are in the educational background will know about this individual education plan. So for every child, based on their requirements, the plan needs to be modified a little bit and to help that child. And many schools are supportive and motivating that right now. I'm talking about the schools which are updated. The school principal who's updated will facilitate it. The coordinator who's updated will facilitate this. And it is very necessary for the teachers to know what it is, rather than like shaming the student or putting them down or putting them to criticism. For them also to understand that they have a condition, and they need to be a little more kinder, and the way to deal with them needs a little bit of training for them also. That's why they provide the kind of pedagogical approaches, child raising method training for parents as well as teachers in some schools. Especially I've seen this in the uh, in schools where they're affordable, they have affordability to take in a resource person, take in a counselor who can facilitate it during the holidays, especially for teachers. They provide them the necessary training to deal with their children. And similarly for parents, see, when generally when we call parents, from my own experience also, they don't come forward. But so certain schools are intelligent enough to club the mark distribution and the session together, where they attend the session, receive the mark sheet, have conversation with the coordinator. If they have a need, they're also given the space to go and meet the counselor and talk after the meeting. So this is provided in certain schools, and I've worked with such schools as well. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. So motivation, fear of criticism, lack of confidence. So everything is has to be built inside the child, not from outside. It cannot be forcefully given to the child. It has to be built from within the child. Like as you said, like parents are to be aware of what child is going through, and what kind of support the child needs, and acceptance from the teachers comments. Everything should be there, and teachers also should be supportive for the children, and whenever necessary they have to be uh, share the thoughts, or get the inputs from the school counselors, so that way the child will be easily benefited. So family background, the child may face any family issues, uh, like a single parent, or without parents, they may be with grandparents. Many children we are seeing this with this situation. So family background issues can be anything, financial issues, um, and if the parents are not educated up to the level. So nowadays most of the children are getting educated via CBSE, but the parents are not able to understand the concepts or the subjects what the child is reading. This way the family is not giving the proper support. So this is enough. We also made the same education. Why is this too much importance nowadays? These are the comments we are hearing from parents. So it's not that way. If the child needed proper support, we have to provide, and we have to be there. That child should believe that parents are there as a support system. This way, when the proper support is given to the children, emotionally, the child will get the confidence and no, uh, bravely face the criticism. So the child will be motivated themselves. Now, sensory and physical factors, like not all the children who make spelling mistakes in their notes to be fallen under the category of dyslexia, or if the child is not responding properly, that child may not be under the ADHD. Sometimes the children will be having issues with their vision or hearing. That should be considered, and as a first point we have to get clarity from the officials, like experts, doctors, and we should confirm that the vision and hearing both are in good condition. So vision can be corrected with the spectacles, and hearing, we have aids now. We have a lot of products to make them comfortable. So this is a first point where the child has to be corrected. The environmental and instructional factors. So like how this environment give the challenges. How What are the challenges faced by the children? Limited exposure, like as we said, the family background will be one point where the parents are not giving the exposure to the child, um, or the parents are not able to provide financially to make the child get the knowledge. Like for the thing like this dyslexia or ADHD, if the child has been found that facing this problem, but the parents are not able to provide, or not in a situation to spend that much money for the child, will come under limited exposure. The child cannot learn, even though we know that the child is facing some issues. this child will not have proper exposure. And even in COVID time, I believe many children suffered for online classes because they didn't have their gadgets, because they don't, all the children at that time did not have tabs or laptop systems. So most of the children were forcefully uh, attended the classes through mobile phone. Few children disconnected their education because they don't have that facility also. So mismatch in teaching methods. So this is where I would give one example. Our teaching methods are good, all the teachers are giving best, but all the children are expected to be the same is a problem here. Each children is different, that's what we are talking about from the beginning. Same way, there is a mismatch. A child, um, a 10 years old girl, she was very good in swimming, and she is very much pretty interested in participating in swimming competition, everything. She was an in CBSE grade, uh, but she was not able to cope up with the education system. That doesn't mean that she is weak or she is under ADHD or dyslexia, nothing. She is potential enough to take all the subjects, but not up to the level where the expectation of parents was more, and the pressure from the school is was also more. So the child was getting into a frustration and always throwing tantrums in classroom and home also. She'll be always angry, and she will not listen what their parents are telling, like that. She faced lot of problems. So later, at one point, their parents understood that she is not interested in this method. So they shifted her to matriculation board, and now she is very happy, and she is doing very good in her studies, and also she is able to cope up with her swimming classes also. So here, this is the teaching methods. I would say we have to find which is correct for our child. In classroom, a class teacher can take 2 or 3 steps ahead, but as a parent, first we have to know where our child is she or he is comfortable with the education pattern, uh, everything. So this child got all the privilege, like pick up drop and gadgets facility, extra tuitions, everything, but still the child was facing the challenge because each cup has their own capacity. That way this child is also having a capacity, interest area is different. So once she is shifted from the grade or that board, she just you know, showed good progress in everything. So classroom environment, this is somewhere related to, I can pin with peer pressure. When the child sitting inside the classroom where nobody talks with them, everybody criticize them, and always teasing or bullying, whatever it may be, we can say so many things. There are so many things happening around a child. So this way, the child is facing a challenge inside the classroom where he or she is not able to concentrate on her or their studies. This way, also, the child is facing issues, and the interest towards the subjects will be reduced. So, lack of practice. Nowadays, uh, children are encouraged to engage in more extracurricular activities. It's nothing wrong, but it should not go beyond their limits. It should not pressure them at any cost. So, proper plan and proper discussion with the child. So how is the child interested? Does the child is properly taking rest? Is properly taking food regularly? The space is given. Everything should be given equal importance. Maybe the child is good in everything, but doesn't mean that the child has to get engaged for 4 5 hours in day for extracurricular activities. So we have to plan accordingly, uh, give them proper time for practice, everything. So with a few children will need some time to practice at home. Not all the children will be able to write or appear for the exam at stretch once they listen in the classroom. Language differences. Yes, as I said before, the language difference will be another challenging one. Uh, even in even with the younger child, like kindergarten students, they are the first time coming inside the classroom. They would have not exposed to or other languages like English also. It will be a very new language for them. I know a child of 4 years old. This child was grown up in a big family, where like uncle, aunt, grandma, grandpa, everybody were there around them. So they talk a language, their mother language only. They don't know any, they have not used any words. Like normally in house, when we talk, we can use few vocabularies like cup, spoon, plate. So this way we use many English words. Even our mother tongue will be different, but in speaking method will be like using English words. But this child didn't have any exposure to those English words. What happened is the class teacher was taking a story. Let's take a lion and the mouse story. So this child was not able to understand what the ma'am is talking. Later, we understood this child is not exposed to English, and once it was told in its mother language, the child was easily answer the question, which it means that he know the story already, but in a different language. The child was facing this type. Children are facing this type of difficulties. So, how we can support them is without parent support. We intervention, we cannot make anything miracles for the child. So teacher, support system of counselor, or parent, three of them should be in the same line to help and make a tailored system of education process to make the children comfortable in what they want. So this way children can be comfortably make their education stress free. So here is one thing, how the support system like parents and teachers need to be strategic with their time and effort. So how we can help them is focused on first 5 minutes. So every child's attention span will be different, especially this child who is already facing the reading and writing difficulty will be uh, will be coming under this category. So for them only, I have bought this slide. Intervention should be frequent, short, and focused. It should be not lengthy because already the child is facing some issues in difficulty in concentrating or memorizing, listening to the sound. Everything is there is a difficulty. So the frequent, that is repetition. The child should be repeatedly uh, taught about the same concept. If I'm going to talk about a pen to the child, the pen spelling should be repeated and short. I should not take the class for more than half an hour. Even 10 minutes will be more for some children. So according to the child, we have to make the process and focused. That 10 minutes, if I'm going to plan for a 10 minutes, that 10 minutes should be there should be not be any distractions for the child. Very focused, short and frequent will be effective. And focus on the skill, not on the assignment. So school is giving homework, and as a parent or a support system, we should not force them to complete the full homework for the immediately for the day. We have to break down the homework. We have to focus their interest area, the main core of the homework. Not only homework, even a lesson, whatever it may be, we have to reduce the length or complexity. If the lesson is for 2 or 3 pages, children cannot sit and read for so much time. So we have to break it, and we have to highlight the points. We can give them like pictures, flashcards, or image. That way, like a storytelling also will be an effective one. So, as a parent, during homework, if the student is melting down, sometimes making the children forcefully sit to do homework will create more pressure for the child. So, this child has to be given their own space, like continuously making them write for 5 times, continuously making them sit in a place for more than half an hour will not work. So they should be given space and breaks, frequent breaks. And that breaks should not be like TV, mobile. No, it should be different way of learning. That's all. So if you are writing for 10 minutes, the next 5-10 minutes should be like discussing about what we have written, what we have learned, what we have you have understood. We can stop them and ask questions, make them think what they have learned. So this will give them motivation that I have learned so much and I can do more. So this type of engagement will give them a motivation also, and self build them their self confidence. And of course it will reduce the pressure. If a child is consistently scoring significantly below expectations. So if a child is scoring less than the expectation of after giving the so much of support, after doing all the breakups, pauses, different trying all the varieties of teaching, still the child is not able to meet the expectation, and this is uh, happening for more than 6 months, then it is a time for a full assessment by a specialist. So that child can be uh, shall, can get the help of a support like student counselor. Surely they will be able to help them, because consistency is more important here. 1 day or 2 day a parent can do, leaving all the work, but a consistency will not happen, cannot be happen in in between our daily routine. So a parent may be a working woman, no, other than that she may have some other households works to do. So every day it's just a bigger challenge for a parent to sit with the child and make them do all these support. So it's better to take a support from specialist. So there are many methods where the specialist will counselors will take, like using flashcards, using phonic sound, explaining the child to break down and break down the sentence, words, letters, and repetition, dictation. Giving dictation is more important for these children. So syllabi, they will blend, they will teach them how to, where to blend, where to join the letters. Everything will be taught, and mind map will be also uh, helpful for them. This is the best practice, where a story or a subject point is no make made as a mind map. Like main point will be in the center, and they have too many branches around them to explaining in one word, so that the child will be easily understanding the concept. It builds uh, s- confidence for them. Yes, I know the story, even I can write. So the vocabularies we use, they will connect and write. So this will help them. And tailored education is very important, not sending to a tuition where the again same method is followed from the school. 10 to 15 children are sitting together, again one person is telling them to write a homework, do this, do that. No. Um Most effectively, one-to-one sessions with specialists will work out. And the customized that's a tailored process. They change the process according to the child. The same lesson, the same homework will be made according to the interest of the child. It will not be forceful, because they know how to teach them. Like what is the where is the strength, what is the strength of the child will be found out. So other than this, there are many reasons, like parental pressure, where parents are yet forcing children to for their academics of more marks. Yes, education is important, but not on the what to say, like marks. Not only the marks, there are more than marks where the child needs to develop in them, like independent thinking, decision making, challenge facing. So each day, each child is facing the challenges. So accordingly, each child is a champion. So that way, all the children are to be considered as champions and given importance according to their own independent strength. It's our responsibility to find the strength and develop them. Time management. Many children have the issue in managing their time. They know what to do, they know how to do, but still they face the trouble in managing this their time. How much time I should take for this? How much time I should take a break? So for this subject, how much time I need? So in many ways, this will depend on no impact on their organizing also. And education pattern. Yes. So all the children need not be the same way pattern learner. Each are different. So we have to find the way what is the pattern. It may be about that visual, auditory, kinesthetic, whatever it may be, and also the boards which you are making a consideration on parents' point of view. So till one stage it's everything is fine, but when we start finding that our child is facing some challenges, it's time for us to think where it is going wrong, how to correct it. So that will be a better option. And chronic illness. So few children um, will face are facing some illness which for which they are taking too much of medicines. So they feel sleepy, they cannot come to school regularly, they cannot write the notes regularly. That way they are facing the challenges. And in between also, not only from birth, in between also this can happen. I know a child till third standard, he was a very extraordinary academic performer. In third standard, that child got brain fever. So after that, what happened is the child was no, he has to take too much of medicine. So where he lost his academics, he was not regular. So now they have again chosen to the change of board. To make it simple, not to pressure the child, the parents have decided to move him to the different board. So like that, each child is facing different challenges. So here is a scenario about imaginary character. I request to just read for a few seconds. So this boy is grade 4, and he was facing the issue in reading. Like he reads bed as bad. So like that he guessed the word with the first letter. So this will automatically impact his grade level. And avoiding reading loud. So this is where the child loses his confidence. So he knows that he has some trouble in reading. So if I read it louder, they may tease me. I may be wrong, so they may tease me. Ma'am may scold me. Many things go in his head. The pronunciations also. The elephant as elephant. So saw as was. So writing saw as was. So many children face this issue. And blending, where to blend, how to blend. This child is facing the difficulty in blending also. So, see, his strength is exceptional verbal comprehension. He is very good orally, high curiosity and knowledge in science and history, strong social skills, and a creative imagination. So, this is what we talked about. Each children will have a strength. So, how this challenge is making, how to turn this challenge and make him as a champion. Here is a strategy intervention. So, this will be possible by a counselor. Multisensory phonics. The tutor did not just show him the letter O, they were also told the shape, the letter shape, how the surface will be, like kinesthetic input, like writing on sand or sandpaper. This will help the child to feel how the letter will be. So the feel can make him help him to understand and remember. The main point here is to the remembrance. The memory part is the child where feel the trouble, and then tell the sound. And explicit spelling rules. He was taught the rules of the game. So it can be as a taught as a game, not as an education part. And we say in phonics like magical words. So here the word cap and silent e word. So the same cap when the e is added to the end, how it turns. So this is the way we have to teach them with game. Repeated reading. The parents practiced paired reading. So this is the best practice, I would say. Like if there is a storybook, very simple storybook, no colorful storybook. Now we have many options for them in market. So we have to get a colorful and simple storybook. It should not have so many sentence or words. One or two sentence in pages. In each page will be helpful. So what they are doing is parent and the child has to be read together. They have to read together. That will help the child to hear and feel, and he's repeating and getting the confidence that yes, I am right, and I am also able to read. So this will build the fluency and increase in speed of reading. And memory power also, the repetition, the power of repetition is it will help in getting the memory. At the same time, the child should not be frustrated or pressured too much. There should be an equivalent breaks, activities, everything should be there. So what was the output after about a year of consistent daily intervention? He showed significant improvements in decoding accuracy and his ability to hear sounds in words. So, this is how it will work out. So, the child will be able to learn, but the child needs the time. Like the other child, this child cannot be forced or pressured to read and write the words. They will take time, but once they start understanding, they get the confidence, and surely they will be able to see the speed in their reading and writing. So at the same time, when we give importance to their strength, like extracurricular activities or whatever they like, that will also build their confidence. So it's like a give and take, win-win situation. You give, parents are doing this. Yes, I know they are helping me, they are supporting me. I will also do something. I will try from my part. So this is how a child will think. So finally, what I would say is best and most effective way is to early childhood intervention is the most important point. All the children face something, some or the other, but there is a right time to find it out and address them. Few parents no, so something feel like வளர வளர சரியாயிடும், once he grow it will be fine, no issues. So not everybody, not everybody, some parents are there who worries a lot about them and give more protection or more importance. I would say both will be pressure to child. We have to give the space and understand their pulse. Accordingly, we can do miracles to the child, and the child will also be very happy. The end motive of the session is to make a child happy. No child is no to be pressured or may face their day with sadness. All child deserve to be happy, and for that, whatever support we have to do, we are we can take responsibility to help the children. So, right support system at right point. Once we find that our child is facing some challenge, uh, we have to know whom to contact, where to go. Don't get advices from anybody. I would say uh, our society is like filled with free advices, like do that, do this, here, go there, go here. Even I have heard for a speech delay also, still in நாக்கில் இது தடவுனா சரியா போயிடும், பேச்சு வந்துடும். எங்கள் வீட்லேயும் இன்னும் 6 years வரைக்கும் கூட பேசாமல் இருந்திருக்காங்க. எஸ், இட் கேன் பி த சேம் சுச்சுவேஷன். திஸ் சைல்ட் வில் ஆல்சோ டாக். It may change, but with that we should not stop. We should go for a specialist. We should take no uh, we should take some effort to find out what is happening around the child, how the child is feeling is more important. So that's all from my side, and thank you so much for this opportunity, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, you are in mute, ma'am.
Thank you. So, Abhilasha ma'am has elaborately discussed about how we can help a child with challenges in academics. Sorry. Yeah. So, if anyone has any queries, feel free to talk about it, ask questions, or you can give your feedback, and you can also talk about your takeaway from this session as she's elaborated everything in a detailed manner. Please give me your feedback, which would be useful for ma'am as well, about what your takeaway is. Anyone can go ahead. What was your takeaway from today's session? All right. So thank you, Abhilasha ma'am. And yeah, so I think this was like kind of making things even more elaborate and descriptive so that anyone like can understand. It makes even a common person understand what the concepts you're teaching when they've attended this session. And that's like quite informative, I would say, definitely. So thank you. Yes, others. All right. Thank you, ma'am.